Hey there folks, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all had a wonderful Easter weekend spent alongside friends and family. Now that the long weekend is over, it's time to get ready for the busy spring market. But before we do that, I want to break down what happened in the month of March. I have to admit I expected more listings to come on the market last month, but I also know that the weather's been really crappy, so that definitely could have played a part, similar to February. Be sure to stick around to the end of this video where I'll be unveiling the top 5 areas that had the most price appreciation within the last 6 months. And before we get into the numbers, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, leave a like and a comment, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And thanks for watching Halifax Home Guide. So let's start off with the total amount of sales that happened in the month of March, which was 326. Now this is down by about 12.5% compared to the month of March in 2025, but is actually up substantially by 18.5% compared to last month and brings the total amount of sales year to date at 828. So what about new listings? Well, last month there was 574 new listings that hit the market, which is close to the same as the same month last year and up from 392 new listings last month. This brings the total amount of new listings year to date at 1,389. So based off of this and the number of sales that happened so far this year, only 60% of the homes that came to market have sold. So on average, how many showings are these properties actually getting? Well, just last month, that number was 5.3, which is down by 6.3 in the same month last year, but up from 5.1 compared to the previous month. Okay, let's move on to everybody's favorite, which is average price. So just to be clear, there are 2 different ways that I like to look at the average price and the days on market as well. And that would be by analyzing the sales data from the last year. And the second way is just to simply look at the sales that happened within that month. So when you look at the year over year data, the average price for a home in HRM was $614,611. That is an appreciation of 3.1% year over year. Now, when you look at the sales that happened only within the month of March, average price is actually higher at $624,156. That is 22,000 higher compared to the same month last year and up by 2.8% compared to last month. So despite the slowing market, average price continues to rise today. Moving on to the average days on market, which by looking at the data over the last year would bring it to 37 days. Just in the month of March, the average was 44, which is up from 35 in the same month last year, but down from 50 in the last month. So what's the average list to sale ratio for all these homes that have sold? When looking at the year over year data, that currently sits at 99.2%. And when you look at just the month of March, was 98.4%, which is down by 1.4% compared to the same month last year, but up by 0.2% compared to last month. So just a slight increase. Now moving on to the total inventory, which is the amount of homes that currently sit on the market. As of April 1st, 2026, that number sits at 1,003 listings, up from 914 last month. Now on to months of inventory, which is the metric we use to determine which type of market we are in, that being a seller's market, balanced market, or buyer's market. I actually didn't see a change and currently sits at 2.6 months, which would indicate that looking at the overall HRM market, technically we're still in a seller's market. Moving on to one of my favorite metrics, which is how many of these homes are selling at or above the asking price. Out of the total 326 sales that happened in the month of March, 14.7% sold at the asking price, and 89 of them actually sold for above the asking price, which is 27.3%. so just over a quarter. And I think the reason for this is just because we didn't have a whole lot of listings that we're kind of used to hit the market within the month of March. A lot of people were holding off just because of the crappy weather. There was still snow on the ground for a bit, which makes it difficult to truly market a property. But there was a little bit of an influx of buyers at the same time, especially in those first-time home buyers markets that tend to still be quite competitive. Okay, as I promised earlier, now we're going to move on to the top 5 areas in HRM that had the most price appreciation in the last 6 months. Number 5 is Kingswood and Hammonds Plains at 10.4%. Number 4, downtown Dartmouth at 11.3%. Number 3, Timberley and Prospect area at 13.2%. Number 2 is Montebello in Dartmouth at 13.2%. And now I will give you a few seconds to go down to the comments and let me know the area that you think had the most price appreciation. Coming in at number 1 is Harrietsfield, Sambro, and Halibut Bay at a staggering 25% appreciation. So that is what happened in the HRM real estate market in the month of March 2026. If you are planning on making a move, or if you just want to go over some options and choices, you can click the link in the description below and book a no obligation 30-minute phone call with me where I would be happy to discuss your real estate needs. See you next time.